Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brownwater Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
It is Joey Cates, and we got a good show for you in the studio. We have Captain Mike Strickland from the Department of Marine Resources and Eric here as well from the Department of Marine Resources. We're going to be talking about all the hot topics, man. Trevor was supposed to be here today, and he apparently got sick. We don't know what happened. We're going to be going over the snapper rules, I think. Is that one of the things?
We're doing all kinds of any rules and regs.
There you go. Rules and regs. We had a good time chatting it up last time.
Yes.
It's getting warm, and people are about to start getting their boats out again. I think actually this past Saturday was kind of like I feel like, Joey, correct me if I'm wrong, the first day of 26 where people were like, all right, we're going.
Well, there wasn't a spot in Brittany, and it was just a regular Saturday.
So it's always a good time to go over safety regulations, fishing regulations. That's exactly what we're going to do here in just a second. But before we do that, we got to thank the people that keep the lights on for us over here at the Brownwater Studios. Right out of the gate, Dr. Robbie Williams over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. If you're looking for a great local dentist, you can look them up on the socials at Southern Magnolia Smiles on Facebook and Instagram. 2026 has no name, but you need to book that consultation and go get them pearly whites shined up and looking good. When you want to do that, you can give them a shout at 228-215-1202 and tell them Brownwater sent you. If you need legal representation for any reason, Taylor & Cox Law Firm is right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, man. They're in Jackson County, George County, and Greene County. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUI, BUI, family law, divorce, child custody, you name it. They're going to fight tooth and nail for you in the courtroom for you or someone you know. Give them a call at 228-696-0111. And again, tell them Brownwater sent you. You were flirting with the very last possible month, I would say, to say a New Year's resolution and still kind of save face.
Bulking season's over, man.
Yeah.
Summer's it's coming.
It's coming. If you want to get that beach bod ready, call Forever Young Men and Women's Health. This is Kendrick right here. He is well-versed in all things medicine and health. Their motto is bringing medicine and health and exercise together to help men and women live their best lives. So if you want to start feeling better, moving around, whether that's just walking down the road, man, getting off the couch or getting in the gym and
kicking a soccer ball.
That's right. He specializes in testosterone replacement for both men and women. You give him a call. He's going to draw some labs on you and go over it with you and figure out, what they can do to get you feeling better. So give him a shout at 228-363-6623. And again, tell him Brownwater sent you. And I'm not going to go all the way into it, but the Brownwater Bash is going to be April the 18th at Dewey Bugs in D'Iberville. Here's the flyer right here. You can turn a hardhead catfish into $1,000. Did I say something wrong?
No.
Oh, you made me nervous. I was like, did I say the date wrong?
No.
Turn a hardhead catfish into $1,000. And we have a gaff top, white trout, black drum, redfish division. It's going to be a good time. It always is. And
registration is live on our website.
That's what I was going to say.
Brownwaterbanter.com.
Yep. Just go to the homepage right there. Click on the link, baby, and it'll take you to where you need to be. And you can go ahead and get registered for that if it's something that you're into. Family fun event. We're going to be talking about that a lot more between now and April the 18th. So I'm going to pull this down and throw this up right here. And nope, that's the wrong button. And right here, because this is a Department of Marine Resources sponsored episode, and we always enjoy these. They're super fun, very educational, and so sit back and relax. And I hope the people out here listening, watching, I hope you learned something. So, gentlemen, first, thank you for being here. I know y'all worked all day today, just like Joey and I. And do y'all get voluntold to come here? How does that work?
That's exactly
voluntold. Okay, I love that.
Miss Charmaine sends email, and y'all got to go. Right?
I don't. I actually volunteer for it. I want to be the one controlling the narrative.
Okay. Well, hey, we do appreciate that. We chatted a little bit about that before we went live, and that's one of the things, especially on the law enforcement side, and actually especially on the regulation side of things, is you hear a lot of hearsay. You hear a lot of people say this, say that. People have legitimate questions, and it's good to have you guys come in here and give it to the people like straight from the horse's mouth to the best of your ability. So we always love that. Multiple times y'all been on the show. This isn't the first, but like we always say, not everybody's seen everything that every time you've been on here. So if you could reintroduce yourself to the audience, what you do at the DMR, how long you've been there, your backstory, just real quick.
All right. My name's Captain Mike Strickland. I am the captain over patrol. So the officers that you encounter out there on the water, on the roads and everything else.
That's your gentlemen.
Those are my guys.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Guys and girls.
Gang ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies out there too.
We've seen them. We've seen them.
Yep. So that's me.
Okay. Sir?
I'm Eric Giglio. I've been with the agency for about 7 years. I'm a biologist for the agency and got here by way of Savannah, Georgia, small undergrad school. Got to USM Research Lab, got a master's degree there, and then came straight out of school, started working for DMR.
Okay. Yeah. One of the things I've learned is y'all have about, 2,000, 3,000 sub-departments inside of the DMR that I had no clue even existed. Which one are you a part of? And if you could explain that for people.
So I'm in the Finfish Bureau of Marine Fisheries.
Okay.
So we focus on the regulations that are tied to finfish. That's what people think when they're going fishing.
Right.
And then basically monitoring and assessing the stock that we have at any given point in time.
Okay. And give people just real quick, like a brief, just give me a list of like 5 or 6 fish that y'all may do regulations on.
I mean,
People would be interested.
spotted sea trout, red drum, flounder, red snapper.
There it is. That's the one. That's the one. Everybody.
The hot
That's the one.
topic.
Yeah. You know, Joe, this is a question for you. Has it always been like that with the snapper? Have they always just been idolized and
Not when it was 5 per person.
okay.
in 3-day, 7-day seasons.
Yeah,
Right.
A lot of people don't remember that.
That there used to be through
Yeah,
the
right.
Yeah. I do remember that one year was terrible. Right?
Yeah, it was like it was two weekdays, wasn't it? It was Friday, Saturday, and a Friday, Saturday.
So
but the thing is, y'all don't control that.
Right. And we'll get into all that too. But yeah, so anyway, so that's y'all's department. So where do we want to start? Do we want to start with gearing up safety as these people pull boats out of their shops, like I got mine sitting over here that haven't been out in a while?
Let's do a little boater
wanna
safety. Yeah, let's do that. We'll
I'll try not to plug anybody.
Right. Boater safety. Let's start there. And people that are watching on the live, man, this is your chance. This is your time to type in a comment, ask us a question. I'm going to be monitoring them. Give us a second. If we're talking for a little bit, and you know, I don't get to your question, I'm gonna get to it. Already got a question come through right here, right now. It's about trout. So David, we appreciate it. Hold tight for just a second. I'll flash it up in a minute. We're going to start with safety
boater
rules.
safety, no wake zones, all that stuff.
Let's jump into it.
All right.
Let's start with pulling your boat. You ain't been out all winter, maybe there's a certain guy with a red hat on who hadn't been taking his boat out in a while. What does he need to do?
So I promise I won't plug nobody in this, but I got a great story for this off the air.
All right. Okay.
First and foremost, we want to thank you guys. This platform is amazing. I love this partnership that we've got. This is probably my 3rd time or 4th, maybe even 4th time
something like
here.
that.
And I really appreciate the platform, being able to talk to the general public like that, answer any questions, get it out, because we do want to control the narrative. We want to set the story straight of what's actually happening out there. And there's a lot of concerned people. So I first and foremost appreciate
we
that.
appreciate that.
But, hey, we are going to have a great summer this year. Weather's already, like you said, last Saturday was a gorgeous day.
Absolutely.
People were already out at Deer Island. They were already laying out. Boats are coming out. But from just a story that happened to me, I did a service on my boat. Changed oil, changed the lower unit, changed the filter, had a new stereo put in. So I was running through all the electronics and everything like that.
Okay.
I take my grandson out Sunday morning and my steering doesn't work.
Hydraulic.
I was low on hydraulic.
Yeah. I had a leak too. I had Chris Fetters over there had to fix mine. Yep.
So, hey, to the store, I went. So, and listen, the more pressure you're under there, the more power your motor's putting out, the harder it is for it to work. When it was actually just on the trailer, it was easy.
Correct.
And I wouldn't have been able to say, okay, my power steering is not working. But it's little things like that I said to myself, okay, I didn't even go through a full checklist of my boat to see what was going on. So, you know, your hubs.
Yep.
Make sure your hubs are greased.
That's a big one.
Especially because these trailers going in and out of salt water. If you don't wash your trailer down right, they're going to get rusty.
Yep.
The grease hardens and packs over the winter time. You can have a hub go out. So make sure your trailer's right. Make sure your lights are working. Vessel wise, go through it the best you can. I know you can't check everything until you get out there on the water, but go through it the best you can. Make sure all your fluid levels right. Make sure all your safety equipment's on the boat. So what is my safety equipment? I got to have a life jacket for each person on board. It's got to be a Coast Guard approved. The life jackets that are going to count for each person on board. A lot of you see the new ones, the inflatables that are out there. So a lot of people don't realize that if you have an inflatable on your boat, if it's not on your person, if it's actually stowed away,
it doesn't count. Yeah.
Doesn't count as a PFD. Exactly right.
Really?
That's actually be wearing it. Yeah.
He probably told us that the last time he was on here,
he did.
and I don't remember that.
Yeah.
What's the rationale behind that? Just because it's got to be get wet to be inflated.
It's correct. It's the type that it is.
Okay.
Yeah. The type of flotation device that it is. That if you're going to have the children on board, make sure those life jackets are sized for them.
Right.
Okay. An adult orange life jacket that just goes over a head, it's
Just
going to
slip
pop right off.
through it,
Exactly. If a kid goes in the water, make sure your vessel has the distress signaling devices for distress or flares, especially if you're going to be in a body of water greater than 2 miles wide. Sound producing device, 16-foot and above vessel. Make sure you have a Type 4 throwable device.
Okay.
And-
the sound device and I know a lot of people use mirrors too as well. The signal device.
That's a distress and signaling. It has nothing to do with the sound.
Correct.
Usually a air horn or a whistle. Yes.
Yes.
Usually what they
yes.
use. Yeah,
And where do
yeah.
those need to be? Is there, like, in other words, is there a law or readily accessible?
Readily
How does that
accessible
work?
is how the law is written.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you use an air horn, I suggest you change it every year because they rust completely out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They sure do.
Yeah. Sound like somebody farting on the boat when you get out there.
Yeah, but just go through your boat all the way and just make sure you got everything in place. Proper planning makes all the difference when you're out there.
That's right.
And it's not like you're on the side of the road. If something happens, you can call somebody, come get you. Usually that's a little bit more of a process out there. So,
Yeah. Joey and I are big proponents of the EPIRBs. Or
Absolutely.
the personal locator beacons, PLBs, because of the guys that sat right there where you are that sank in the Gulf and saved their life for sure.
Yep.
So if you go look those up, EPIRBs, personal locator beacon. Something the personal locators are very small. You can carry them right on you. You can have them in a quick dry bag,
ditch bag.
bag. Yeah. So
not a requirement, but an excellent idea.
Yeah, I mean, after hearing those guys talk, it's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I always roll with a first aid kit. That's not a requirement either, but it's definitely
and that helps out a
definitely
lot.
needed Band-Aids, tourniquets. You
Yeah.
never know when a prop might slip up, and then you got to get somebody somewhere quick. So
True.
Well, you got prop, you got also natural environment. So you're out there fishing. I mean, there's people that get injured from doing that.
Mhm.
Those types of injuries out there are usually large lacerations.
Correct.
And because of the salt water and everything else, stopping the bleeding. So tourniquets, a thing a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
that's a good
excellent point.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. So what else we got? That covers your, basic level
Yep.
of what to prepare for the first time rolling out when the weather gets hot or warm or whatever, and everybody's ready to go back out there.
So that's equipment wise.
Yep.
On the mental side,
Yep.
all right, familiarize yourself with any rules, regulations that are changed. I can tell you right now that from the last time we've talked, there's not been any statute changes or anything regarding regulations or new laws that are going to be in place regarding operating a vessel or where or when you can't. So there's nothing new coming down the pipe. But there is, you need to familiarize yourself with what we call the rules of the road.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't understand there's U.S. Coast Guard regs for inland operation of your vessel and also in international waters too, but we don't have to concern ourselves with that.
Right.
Just the inland operation of it, what your duty is as the captain of that boat, what your responsibilities are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really eye-opening when I talk to a lot of people and
They don't know
that. Well, I would probably, without throwing just an exact number, I'd probably say 95% of the people, unless you've been to or you hold a captain's license or been to some type of class like that, the boat and water safety program that we offer doesn't even begin to touch on the rules and regs for operating a vessel.
What would you say would be, like, just give us one that maybe most people take for granted?
The one I run into a lot of sailboats.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or like I'll probably forget this. Which way is the appropriate way to overtake another vessel?
Overtaking situations, how far you have to be away from that vessel in overtaking situations, sounds that you need to make, your vessel needs to make in an overtaking situation, visibility issues.
No one makes the sound. No one.
When you're leaving the harbor, like everybody know you're leaving.
Yeah.
Maintaining proper lookout, your responsibility, and it's everyone's responsibility in your vessel and in any other vessel that's coming to you to avoid a collision.
Right.
So if there is an accident, both parties are going to share in the responsibility because there is things that you could have done as the other operator that would have prevented that accident. Every accident is preventable in the eyes of the law when they look at that to say this shouldn't have happened. Were you going too fast? Should you have reduced speed because of your turn situation or traffic or whatever? So there's
I saw one this weekend. We're literally right there on Deer Island, and it's a no-wake zone in front of the harbor.
Yep.
10 feet past the harbor, there's a boat anchored right in the middle of the channel fishing. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? And he's looking at everybody else like,
probably mad that everybody's swamping.
Everybody's like coming by.
Why is there so many people coming right here? It's like,
guys, y'all got to get it together.
Yeah.
And the more you know, the more you realize just how fortunate we are in our area that boat accidents are minimized, and with the amount of traffic that's out there, we have a very, very low statistics, and we can talk about what I think some of the reasons for that are. But yeah, we're very fortunate when you understand what the rules of the road are and what the operating procedures are. It really scares you, and It's really eye-opening.
Yeah.
You know, I call it the aha moment. It's like, oh, wow, I see now why that's supposed to be like that.
Right. Yeah. You talked about it, Joey, about getting your captain's license, just like the rules of the road, like how much.
They literally put 2 4x8 sheets of plywood on the board and say, if you're going to pass it, this is what you need to know. And you got to memorize pretty much the whole thing. And it's brain like rot. Like your brain is just,
but did you
even know?
I was gonna say, when you took that course, you were like, I knew nothing.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying
I thought I walked in like thinking this is going to be super easy.
Yeah.
And I walked out thinking I literally knew nothing about
how did I ever survive? Right. Yeah.
And knowledge is everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you can take the motor safety class and there's other classes you can take above that. And nobody knows everything on the water. And if you think you know everything on the water, that's when you're going to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's always some kind of variable that wasn't there the last time you were there and it throws a kink in it. And then you got to try to figure that out. So,
yeah, for sure. What would you say, like law enforcement side, what do y'all spend the majority of your time doing? Like what eats up a lot of your attention?
I would probably say we try to focus the majority on boat and water safety. All right. Conservation obviously is extremely important, protecting our natural resources for future generations. We get it. But the way I look at things, life is the most precious thing that we have out there.
Right.
So majority of our efforts are directly focused on, I would say, boat and water safety during the summer and the busy season, especially during the holiday weekends.
Yeah.
Okay. The conservation side of it comes and blends in with that. Okay. It's just natural part of it when we're doing, our stops and stuff. But I would probably say the biggest consumer of our time is just monitoring those waterways and making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. If they're not, one, try to educate them. Two, if they can't be educated or the violation is severe enough that they need to be issued a citation, then we'll handle it that way. But that's the majority of it. Secondary would probably be alcohol.
Yeah. That's a big one. Big no on the water.
Run us through the ages for the life jackets and then the ages for the boater safety course.
Okay, so boater safety course, the operated vessel, you got to be at least 12 years old, and you got to have someone.
Which is wild to me. And I
used to do it all the time. I used to take my skill, my grandpa's skill.
I'm torn between.
Yeah.
We're what they call it, padding the whole entire world so nobody gets hurt. I'm torn between that and 12 is pretty young. And there's at 12, it doesn't matter the size of the vessel, right?
Yeah.
47-foot Freeman, 12 years old. Right?
If you trust him with $1 million boat, yeah.
I'm just talking legally.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
80-mile-an-hour jet ski.
12 years old, he's legal.
Yeah. Go ahead and jump on your Harley.
Yeah.
I would rather you do 80 miles an hour in a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Than the jet ski.
Yeah,
Right. I don't know. That's wild to me. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Anybody born after June 30th, 1980 has to have a boat and water safety card.
Yeah.
So that's the age cut.
Top rate. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the one you're looking for. There.
So life
jackets.
Yeah,
okay. So if you're in a vessel 26 foot or less, okay, anybody that's 12 years and younger has to wear a life jacket while the vessel's underway.
Okay.
Underway means cruising. It means top speed. It means idling. It means using a trolling motor to fish around docks. Anytime the vessel is not anchored or moored, it is considered underway.
Okay.
All right.
So if we stop anchored up, power poles down.
Yep.
We're good.
He wants to take it off and fish right there. He fishes for white trout, dropping on a channel marker or whatever. He's fine.
As soon as we pull the anchor up, got to put him right back in.
Yep. Now 26 foot and above, it's not required. Someone under 12 can be without.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know if I like that, to be honest with you.
Well, that's it. Anytime a kid's on a boat, put him in a life jacket. It don't matter how big of a boat you own, because all it takes is one little thing and they're overboard. And you got to jump in, and you might drown as well. So make sure they're in a life jacket.
Yeah. And you mentioned about the inflatables don't count for anybody. Period. If they're in the drawer, whatever, it's got to be worn.
Got to be worn.
Is there any age requirement on what to consider a life jacket for a kid, as long as it fits them appropriately?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Properly sized.
Okay. What else was it? On the question, was that it?
No, knowing that we drive on the right side of the road. Boats always go to the right side, left side, depending on what you're on. The no wake zones. Can you touch on those?
There was something else.
All right, so there's a couple that are obviously posted. Okay, and those areas are marked. They're supposed to be marked with signage, letting you know that the no wake zone comes there. No wake means no wake.
Right.
It doesn't mean I'm just slow and plowing and causing a bigger wake or whatever. But the ones that are just that are out there, a lot of people don't understand is y'all mentioned the new signages up at
Point Cadet and Smallcraft
and Smallcraft Harbor.
I didn't get what?
Point Cadet and the Smallcraft. They just repainted. No way. It's this big.
Okay.
So if you can't see it,
I was gonna say, let's see if that works.
Yeah.
So for the length of that right there, basically, it's 100 feet. If you're within 100 feet of that marina, public boat launch, anything like that, that is a mandated by law wake zone.
Okay.
It's not one that the city asked for or the county asked for and got, but that's the way it is. So it's public boat launches. The other thing is if you're within 100 feet of a vessel that is anchored or moored. So if you see somebody, if he's using a trolling motor to go around the bayous, you technically don't have to slow down for him. All right, as long as you're not
100 feet.
Well, within a safe distance.
Right.
All right, because he's still considered underway using a trolling motor.
Common courtesy.
Is it rude?
Common courtesy. Yeah.
Courtesy would be, hey, slow down because the guy's standing up on the deck of his boat fishing. All right. But if he drops anchor right there, you come around, then you have a responsibility with your 100 feet of that vessel that's anchored moored, you've got to come down and be in a no wake situation.
And that counts for the boats that are sitting on Deer Island that are pulled up, anchored right there.
Yeah.
Because that's where we see it a lot.
That's
everybody wants to come through there hauling butt.
From the channel to Deer Island right there where you're talking about, that's the west end. That's greater than 100 feet, I would say.
Yeah, but you got 100 foot off of the harbor, and then you got 100 foot off of the boat. You see what I'm saying?
100 foot off of the
Deer Island.
Off where those boats are pulled up on the island.
Oh, you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you got 100 foot off of Smallcraft, and you got 100 foot off of Deer Island.
Okay.
The boats that are on there.
Okay.
I don't have a tape measure on me right now.
I was just thinking that would be a good video.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could figure that out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But just common courtesy. If you see boats anchored up, don't come through there full throttle or even half throttle's worse.
I was going to say, we said it before on the show. I'd rather you be full throttle. Don't half-ass it because that's like a jet boat or a ski boat. I mean, when they like drop the ass of the boat and creates way more weight.
But think about this. So the real danger there is not. I mean, there's a couple things. One, you could have. If their boat's pulled up, they're going to have, sometimes they'll have kids in the water.
Right.
All right. The kids are, because the boats are stacked pretty closely. I mean, they're most of the time going to be in between the boat. Mm-hmm. So if you got boats that are coming together, you've got, 10,000 pound, two 10,000 pound boats coming together because of a wake. And if a kid's trapped between that, if an adult's trapped between that, it's not good.
Not good.
And then outside of that, how many kids are swimming 15, 20, 30, 40 feet behind the boat?
They get pushed into the motors. Yeah.
They can get pushed in and all that. But I mean, if you're sitting there trying to determine, well, I'm 99 feet or I'm 105
right,
and you're hauling butt.
Right.
And I've never wanted to go somewhere so fast in my life that I could live with myself if I ran over somebody that just seen how long he could go underwater and hold his breath, a kid.
Correct.
So if I see something like that, I'm automatically going to say, hey, look, this is not an area where speed is a smart thing to do. Yeah. I'm going to slow down. And I'm going to idle past.
A lot of people don't realize that you are responsible for your own weight.
You are.
So technically, if something happens to that boat, they could get your numbers, call you in, and they would come to you, and then you would be sitting in court somewhere with a boat damage.
And it counts as a boat accident because in the state of Mississippi, for an accident report to be filed, it has anything involving an injury or more than $100 in damage to a boat.
Okay.
Can you do anything to your boat?
Nothing.
I could knock a letter off the side of it. It'd be $100.
Yeah. Exactly. And what is it when you say that becomes? How did you call it?
That means they have to file a boat accident report if someone is injured or if there's more than $100 in damage.
Okay. And now tell me what that means. Obviously that's not good. Nobody wants that. But does that trigger an event? Does that make your insurance go up?
They have 5 days to report that. Now injury is different, but if it's just damage to a boat, they've actually got to call us. The
victim.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've got to file that report within 5 days.
Okay.
Okay. Boat accident report, an operator's report to us. All right. Most of the time, if we're just not out just to a point where we can't respond, we're going to respond to probably 99% of the boat accidents out there.
Okay.
Anything involving injuries, we're going to report.
Right. I've never really thought about it in an after the fact situation. So you're saying 5 days. So that means something like that could happen. And like Joey's saying, if you got the boating number of said boat that did it to you, maybe it's a day later, whatever it is, and they call y'all.
So it's 5 days for you to get that mailed into us.
Correct.
So let's think about it like this. If you were in a Walmart parking lot and someone hits your vehicle, are you going to wait and call Monday morning to have somebody come out there and verify the damage to your boat, verify damage to your car? It really doesn't do good then, because no one's really going to believe your story that this somebody opened a car door on your vehicle. Mm-hmm. So it's always better to handle that right then and there. But there is
okay. It just made me think of like a situation where like you're getting a knock on your door on a Tuesday from something that happened Saturday from you guys. Have y'all done that?
We have.
Yeah.
That's most of the time when it has happened. It is our opinion, okay, that the person was both parties responsible, and one of the responsible parties didn't report because there was alcohol involved, and
negligence,
and they didn't want you coming out there and talking to them, be like, well, he did this, and them being intoxicated. It'd be like
they want to
running your car off the road at 3:00 on a Friday morning. You don't come back till Saturday morning to get it.
Right, sleeping it off.
I'm not going to call anybody. I'm going to exactly.
Okay.
Most of the time, that's what we find the case to be.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that covers the rules. Did we get the rules?
Yep. Pretty much. Right. If anything comes up, I'll be glad to step in.
Yeah. So let's get to the regulations. We want everybody's loading their family up, blah, 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 ready to go fishing. What do we need to have on board to keep everybody legal as far as license wise and everything else?
All right. So for most anglers that aren't going offshore, it's just your fishing license.
Okay.
If you're under the age of 16, if you're over the age of 65, there's different regulations. Under age of 16 doesn't have to have a fishing license. Some of them got lifetimes, but they just have it. 65 plus, you do have to get a fishing license, but you only have to get it one time. It's extremely cost effective and basically just gets us a number for us. We got an idea of how many folks have 65 plus year old license. If you're 100% disabled and you have the letters from the state documentation of it, you do not have to have a fishing license. You just have to carry those letters with you. And so we apply most of those to our offshore permit. So we got the recreational offshore landing permit.
Right.
That's for cobia, for reef fish, which is all your snappers, groupers, amberjack, triggerfish. And you have to have a recreational offshore landing permit issued from Mississippi, DMR, if you are over the age of 16, and if you are required ultimately to have a fishing license, you also have to have the offshore landing permit. So,
and those are easy. You just mail it in. You go to your website. And you mail it to you, and it's a little card, and you stick it in your wallet.
Yep, it's all digital. So you can go onto our website. That's where you register, not with the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks website where you got your saltwater, your regular fishing license.
Right.
It's totally separate, but we do that for a reason. It lets us keep it free. So there's no cost associated with the permit, but it is the future of how we are managing our offshore fisheries. So we have a good idea of how many folks are going offshore because of that offshore landing permit.
Now let's get real quick into the weeds a little bit on that. And we've done it before on the show, but I want to do it again.
Yep.
That was done because a lot of people didn't like it. Because it's another layer.
Yeah.
Mine's in my pocket right now too. It was another layer, another hassle. You just mentioned it's not on the same website where you get your saltwater fishing license, on a different website. Can you explain why that was done and it wasn't just to have another thing, right?
So the end goal here, and what I think is very likely for 2026, is to move away from tails and scales as the system that is monitoring our red snapper landings. So since 2015, tails and scales have been used as the system to keep track of.
And I feel like was pretty good system. I mean,
extremely successful.
As long as you remember to do it, it's an easy website thing.
That was my next question to go to explain the tails and scales.
Yeah, we have it in our app. There's a link to it. You got the Brownwater app. It's right there. Boop, you hit it. It takes you straight to that page. You don't have to remember anything.
No. So basically, the way that it came about, because it all kind of ties in together, and we're kind of repeating history to some degree. You think about 2010 through 2014. I wasn't with the agency then, but basically what was happening was shortened federal red snapper seasons.
Right.
You had Gulf-wide ACL, and it was all right when all the states combined got to that number, season shuts down. That season got shorter and shorter and shorter. Some anglers probably remember 2014, 15, 16, we ended up with a 10-day season, 3 days.
I remember.
2 3 days.
Everybody was pissed.
Yeah.
Real quick, and I do it in my line of work, the acronym ACL.
Yes.
I know.
Annual catch limit.
Thank you. I couldn't think of annual. I knew it was catch limit, or I would have said it. Not asked you, but annual catch limit. You get so used to speaking the language, you forget that somebody. I
started reaching down to my leg.
Right. What's my ACL ligament got to do with this damn fishing? I don't understand this guy. But yeah, and it is complicated. We've done multiple episodes on this show, and I still don't have it straight. Joey and I talked about we need to create like an infographic to try to explain it, but I've sat at this table enough to listen, and it does make sense. They're trying to manage the fisheries. They're trying to keep the stock there because, as we all know, if we just went with the technology today, again, we've talked about it so many times on the show. The motors, the trolling motors, the GPSs, the thises and that, we could really decimate, do some serious damage to the. I feel like to the fishing population 100%. If we didn't have these limits put on there, right?
Absolutely. No, and Tails and Scales was a fantastic system that got us from those 3-day seasons. It got Mississippi to 80-day seasons consistently. It got us up to upwards of 150, 170 days.
Yes, because of better data, correct?
Yes. We have the anglers to thank for it, but we were having 95 to 98% compliance, which means that everybody going offshore had their authorization. Yeah. They reported their landings.
I think Mike's people at the dock.
That's where you stepped in.
There was some,
little carrot.
A little bit like, hey, they're gonna bust me up for this.
But I will say this. The citizens, the residents, they're just as responsible. I'm gonna tell you what, they carried the load. We didn't have a whole lot of that. If I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I'm going to tell you that a bad season for us would be 18 to 20 no tails and scales violations.
Okay,
out of all of that,
that's not many compared to how many people fish.
Exactly
right.
Yeah. So everyone doing their part, compliance, made our job super easy, and we've been rewarded on the backside by these extended seasons, by everybody doing what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So it's an excellent program, and we have y'all to thank just as much as us.
Oh, there's a lot of people who's involved in that, but I appreciate that. Twitch, thank you. Anterior cruciate ligament. He got that right. I don't know if he's medical or not. Way to go, brother. I'm proud of that. That's impressive.
I didn't tear that. I tore my calf today.
Well,
it's a whole different story.
We'll see.
All right.
Go ahead. Back to that.
Tails and Scales was great, and it got us to where we were having fantastic seasons. The problem came down to how that data was calibrated back to an antiquated system of landings. So it was out of our control, and basically took all the data that we had that was outstanding, 95% to 98% compliance. We knew exactly what was coming out of our fishery, and it cut our quota in half, about 62%. So it took us from 151,000 pounds down to, at its worst, 62,000 pounds.
When you say out of your control, who's making these decisions?
So that came from NOAA Fisheries. Basically, it was the NOAA system of MRIP, and with that, Fishing Effort Survey and Coastal Household Telephone System, which were the old surveys for how landings were monitored.
Okay. So when everybody's yelling at the DMR because the short snapper season has absolutely nothing to do with what y'all are doing.
Y'all just have to enforce it.
Y'all did the best that you could do. We did the best we could do, and we got hosed.
Right. Yeah.
So moving forward, we knew right then and there we needed to make a change. So we started the wheels in motion with a new program called MS Creel, Mississippi Creel, modeled after what Louisiana started in 2014. And so we were able to get that implemented in, I guess we got effort in 2024, full program in 2025, and ran it side by side with the federal program, which is MRIP FES. That's the one that we've had issues with what the numbers are coming out of there are.
Right.
And MS Creel. And basically what we saw was that what we got in MS Creel, what we got in Tails and Scales was almost 1-to-1. It was perfect, exactly what we would expect. What we got out of MRIP was not. So we still have some work to do there. But as of 2026, MRIP and FES is no longer conducted in Mississippi. It is only the state program, Mississippi Creel. We're in a certification process, which basically allows us to use that program for red snapper.
Right.
Tails and Scales already has that certification. It's had it since 2017. We're working on getting that for MS Creel so that we can use that as soon as this year for monitoring red snapper. It doesn't get us all our pounds back immediately, but it is the first step in the right direction.
Sweet.
Okay.
Because I think the way it,
Go ahead.
I think the way what they're looking at there was the problem is that they were comparing that data, our 95, 98% compliance rate spread out across all saltwater licenses.
That gets into the
And not all saltwater license holders were harvesting red snapper.
Right,
so the the offshore landing permit came up, and that way the number is going to be more accurately reflected to the harvest.
Right.
Okay.
In the long run. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Twitch threw us a comment here. He said that the guys at the dock really are not that big of a deal. They stop you and measure, weigh your fish, and you're going in maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and I
quick.
can attest to that.
We did it. We
did it. It's not that big a deal. And I mean that in a good way. Like it's just they wanted to see how big these fish are. They took a ear bone, if I remember, cheekbone, something like that.
Ear.
Oh, is it ear? Okay. I'm sorry.
I couldn't remember. I guessed. And to get more data on fish.
So basically what we're doing there is we're getting numbers for what we're feeding into this system, MS Creel. How large was the fish? And then we apply what y'all caught, catch rates over time for whether it's a given week for red snapper, whether it's a given month for any other species. And that way we're able to actually get accurate landings of what's coming in and how many people are fishing over time and have real data that we trust for all of our fisheries.
Mm-hmm.
While we're on snapper, let's talk about that. Tails and scales is still required this year, and the ROLP
until
ROLPV. Is that what it was?
Recreational landing offshore permit.
Yeah.
So we've got the recreational offshore landing permit. It is in effect, and I think that Mike's probably going to have his folks enforcing that.
Right.
It's been 2 years of really friendly and trying to make sure everybody's getting up to date on the program, but
real quick on that, not to interrupt you. You were talking about like getting that on the website though. It's very seamless, very easy. And when it expires, y'all sent me an email.
Automatically
I hit one button and it was like, is this still correct? And I hit the next button and then I completely forgot about it. And then like a week later, boop, in the mail, new card. So there's that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
No, that worked out. I think that was the first year we were able to get that one-click feature.
And we talk about it for the stuff we do with the podcast.
Like, that couldn't have been Trevor's idea. No shot. That was Trevor's idea. I was about to say, there's no way that was Trevor's idea.
1 click versus 2 clicks versus 3 clicks is huge. Like for people to get to do
even
something.
get on the internet or a computer.
For some people, yes, but
the
like,
old salty guys.
When you talk about like a phone, like that's why Amazon is, at one point Jeff Bezos was the richest man on the planet because 1-click buying on stuff that you can't help but just I got it, So kudos to y'all for that.
And to your question, so we've got offshore landing permit, we've got tails and scales. Every single registered angler for both of those, we have the contact email, we have the contact phone number. Mm-hmm. The second that I have an update that we can provide for what exactly they need to do for red snapper to be legal and to go fish, they're going to get that texted and emailed immediately. Okay. So it's kind of a standby. I'm on the side of pushing for tails and scales not being in effect this year, but until further notice, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
And you brought up a great point. I just want to make sure everybody understands that when those restrictions come down, it is not us.
Yeah.
These guys, the data they're taking in, the information they're processing, the numbers that they have to process, they're constantly fighting to get more quota for the state of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Constantly fighting to get extended
Gulf Council,
seasons.
NOAA, all the other big guys, I guess is what you want to say.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm an angler too.
Right.
They are in the recreational fisherman's pocket. They want more.
Yeah. We're out there snapper fishing. Explain what we need as far as hooks, if we need deflators, if we need dehookers, any of that stuff to be legal.
Yeah, for snapper specifically, there is a federal regulation that you have to have either a descending device or a venting tool on the vessel and rigged up, ready to use. So it's not just that you have it tucked up in a bin somewhere, but it actually has to be ready to drop a fish down or to vent a fish.
That would probably be more on the what is the device called again? The descending
device.
Yes, but your tool can just be in your tackle box, right? Your venting tool, right?
Absolutely, as long as you're able to pull it out quickly and use it on a fish.
The other one, is to release them the right way. You got to have it hooked up to a pole and you.
It's like a weight. We did them at the boat show. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of different options for how you can do that, and some pretty cost-effective options for how you can be able to do that. And in general, the thing that we're telling anglers is that most of our fish come from 50 to 120 feet of water. Mm-hmm. And you're catching them up in the water column a lot of times. Those fish don't always need to be vented. They don't always need to be descended. Sometimes the best thing you can do for that fish is to get it off the hook and get it back in the water as fast as possible. That is as impactful to survivability as anything else.
It's funny you say that because Cody Taylor, you said you were late. You haven't missed anything.
I got
yet.
Cody's list.
Yeah, we got your list. But he just said, even in 40 foot of water, crazy, talking about having to vent them or using a descending device. But you're saying
it's not that you have to. It is that you need to be prepared to. There's signs for a stomach that's coming out of the fish's mouth, scales that are bubbling up with much deeper water. But there's signs of it. You don't have to do it, but just use your best judgment for when you do need to.
It just needs to be readily available. I'd rather get caught with it than without it.
Correct.
Absolutely. Continuing on reef fish regulation, so you have to be using non-stainless steel, so it needs to be able to rust out if it gets broken off. Circle hooks for live bait. So if you're putting a piece of squid down, it should be on a circle hook. If you're actively jigging, then you do not have to use circle hooks on those. Those can be any version of bait.
So if I'm using a snapper jig, I can have a J hook on it.
Exactly.
Okay, but if I'm using bait, pogie, squid, anything like that, it has to be on a circle hook.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. Barotrauma. That's right. Exactly. That's what they're worried about. Let's go back to real quick before Joey. I'm sure you got a few more, but back to the tails and scales. Why are we trying to get rid of that if it's been such a success?
It's no longer benefiting the angler. The angler is going through all the effort of submitting their trips, of authorizing every single trip, and then reporting those details after. If it's not benefiting the angler, there's no reason why we should continue to force them to do that. Yeah, we get great data, but what is the end use of that data? If it's not contributing something to the resource or to the angler, we don't need to continue that program. So the MS Creel is taking the steps to get them out from that burden, which you might ask, all right, so why are we going to get rid of a great tails and scales program that gets perfect data? We can get very, very good data with less effort. So we call, and we actually do this all in-house now. We have our staff calling out to recreational license holders, asking them, did you go fishing this past week?
Yeah.
We get that data. That's your effort size. So that's how many trips got taken. Then we have at the dock side, hey, what did y'all catch today? We get the information off the catch itself and how many people were on the boat, where they were from, if they have an offshore landing permit, and we're able to combine those data to get an estimate of landings on a weekly basis, which is 8 times faster than what the federal program is able to do. And we're able to do that with almost no effort from the angler.
Okay. Let me back up. Are you with that? Did you get? I got tons.
It's based on Louisiana. Louisiana's Creel program is the bee's knees, and that's what we're basing. We're trying to get Mississippi based on Louisiana.
Okay,
that's what I'm.
They didn't do a tails and scales type thing. Louisiana didn't.
No. So in 2014, their upsetness with the federal regulations pushed them directly into Louisiana Creel, which was a survey for all species, not just for red snapper. Alabama did snapper check. That was a snapper specific one. They expanded to amberjack triggerfish. Mississippi, we went with a tails and scales specific to red snapper. We didn't worry about all the other species. We just wanted to isolate. We can do this one species really, really well, and that's the problem that we're currently having. Florida did a reef fish survey, so they get everything that's reef fish oriented, not just red snapper. What we're doing is going to what Louisiana did, because they removed the federal survey. They no longer did that after 2014. That's where we're at now. We are basically 10 years after they've done it. We are doing the exact same thing.
Okay. MS Creel is federal.
MS Creel is our state program that does all species.
Okay. What's the federal program again? I'm trying to build this in my head. Hopefully I'm not the only one that's not.
No, you're fine. So MRIP is
MRIP. There we go.
That's the big one.
Okay.
And you got 2 parts of MRIP, but MRIP is the the umbrella.
And they are the ones that make the catch limits. Is that correct?
The catch limits come from NOAA Fisheries, and it's based on the given stock assessments for where they think the stock is at, and what acceptable levels of removal are.
Okay.
What you have to remember is that in some cases, we have 5 different states that are using 5 different systems to figure out what those numbers are, and then trying to combine those back. That process of combining them back to an equitable currency is
apples
where
to apples type thing.
Mississippi lost out on 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Even using tails and scales.
Yes.
Okay. as accurate as it was.
Right. So
because it didn't correlate with people who it took all saltwater fishing licenses instead of just the ones that were going out with the offshore landing permit.
In general, we said we were catching 151,000 pounds of red snapper in a year. MRIP was saying we were catching 850,000 pounds. And so trying to divide those two into each other to figure out, I think that your 1 pound actually eats 4 or 5 pounds in our system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Damn, so different fisheries, different everything, but they're trying to control the whole Gulf off of one test or whatever you want to call it, survey.
And that goes back to state governments, why they couldn't just say, hey, everybody's going to do it this way and this is the best way. Is that what that is?
Well, you can do the state that way.
It goes back as far as Magnuson-Stevens Act for how fisheries in the Gulf of Mexico and the United States are managed, and that certain species were under federal management because they were considered to be a Gulf-wide stock.
Okay.
So federal management oversaw all Gulf-wide stocks, which is your reef fish, it's your coastal migratory pelagics. It's things that are not isolated to one state's waters.
Okay.
Versus our state species, which the state's managing. Like the federal entity doesn't touch spotted sea trout, flounder. Those are state monitored species.
Okay. That's a little bit of an unlock for me right there. I like that. Yeah.
I got
the only thing I would say is once you're saying it's in limbo as to whether or not we'll get rid of tails and scales for 26
to be determined.
Okay. Whether that happens this year, next year, whenever, one more time, explain to me what we would go to instead of tails and scales and how that would look.
So instead of tails and scales, it is just MS creel, and the angler doesn't report anything. They just get their offshore landing permit, which feeds into MS creel.
And that's the part where they call us and we answer it and say whether we caught or went fishing, right?
Just got one last week.
And then you have, here's but then you also have the people checking at the dock to kind of corroborate the two.
2 parts to get to the one, how many pounds.
You're actively involved in that with the calling process and the data that is associated with that. How are you getting good? Are people picking up the phone? Because I know myself personally, we talked about it with Trevor. Y'all got a 228 number, I do believe.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't out of town number at first.
Me too. And does that number stay the same?
So we had a Louisiana call center that was what Louisiana has been using historically. So it was easy. All right, let's get started and let them do the calls. 2026, MDMR staff began doing the calls ourselves. We built out a system to where you get called and you get called from the exact same number every single time. So it's 228-325-1717.
So pick the phone up.
And that doesn't change.
Never.
Right now.
It will never, it will always be 325-1717.
I need to put that in the comments so people can tell me. So it's going to be a 228 number.
Yep.
All right.
325.
All right.
1717.
1717. Yeah, right. Don't screw me up. All right. I'm dropping that below, people.
Yeah.
That ain't your ex-girlfriend calling.
No.
If you see it, pick it up. Save it in your phone.
Absolutely.
Save it in your phone, right? And answer. Because I want to answer that phone call.
Right.
I don't want the spam shit and all that other stuff.
And it's short. It's did you fish last week? Yes or no? Blah, blah, blah,
Is this a person or automated?
Oh, it's a real person.
Yeah, it's a real person.
DMR staff.
Okay.
So our technicians, our contractors, our biologists, myself,
right?
We all conduct the calls and get them done.
Are y'all allowed to leave a voicemail? Like, no joke.
We haven't been, but the efficiency of it drops off if you start adding a 25-second voicemail to inform about what it is. But we do call multiple times. So we won't call on the same day, but we'll call on Tuesday and on Wednesday and on Thursday. And then basically you get 2 or 3 calls and that's all we're going to do.
And then does that number like drop off your call list or?
No. So if they don't answer in the week of calls, then they can still be drawn again in a future week.
Okay.
The only ones that get dropped off is if you truly refuse to participate in the survey.
Okay.
Then we drop you off for that.
All right. I'm gonna save that number in my phone, and that way when y'all call, I will try to answer.
Yeah. Now, if you call that number, you're just going to get a voicemail to say what the call what was it
about
regarding.
Right.
But that's what it's always going to come from.
Okay.
My last question before we open the floor up to all those hooligans.
Yeah, it's coming. They're coming through. They're coming through.
Explain the state water federal water, the 9-mile jurisdictions.
So we've got 2 state federal jurisdictions to think about. One of them applies to reef fish, which is your snapper, primarily red snapper, and that's 9 nautical miles for reef fish. Mostly that just matters for charter vessels. For somebody like me who's just going fishing with his kids, you can fish anywhere for red snapper. It doesn't matter. It's just when you come back in, you're landing in Mississippi, you got to follow Mississippi regulations. It's different for species like red drum, cobia. Basically,
Correct.
everything else is 3 nautical miles. So red drum and cobia are the ones that come up the most often. Red drum is closed federally beyond 3 nautical miles. You cannot possess redfish if you're fishing on FH13.
Okay. Listen to what he just said. If you are 3 miles past
The barrier islands.
the barrier islands, you cannot have a redfish on your vessel.
It doesn't
I
matter.
know somebody who got that wrong one time, and Noah was very gracious to that particular person who I'm not going to name.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything about it.
Dunce hat.
I'm honest. I'm honest on the show. I was honest with them too. I was like,
Yeah.
me and my dad were like, we didn't know.
Yeah. I mean,
This is years ago.
they're on FH13. They get pulled up, not a ton, but they're still out there, and you cannot keep that fish. If you fish the barrier islands on your way out, don't keep a redfish on your way out to go catch red snapper.
Because you're going to get
Yeah.
popped.
Yeah.
So
Triple rig.
that's the federal water.
That's
water.
where I wasn't FH13.
Yeah.
Triple rig.
So that's the easiest
mistake.
one that comes up. The second one is cobia. So
Correct. The big cobia tournament coming up. This is always a gigantic question at the at the weigh-in.
Yep.
all right. So every Gulf state except for Mississippi and the feds have moved cobia regulations to where it is 1 per person, 2 per vessel. Mississippi did not make that change. We are collecting data with some independent research with satellite tagging and acoustic tagging to basically inform that why we did that decision. That's for another episode.
Okay.
You got to come back though.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
get you in the
All
weeds.
So basically,
Doing great, by the way.
Mississippi did not make that change. We are still 2 per person, and it doesn't matter how many people are on your boat.
Okay. So if I'm fishing Gorn Flows, if I'm fishing Mr. Kenny's, I'm fishing Josh's tournament. I got 6 people on the boat. I go out there, FH13, any of the rigs. How many lemon fish can I bring back in?
2
Cobia
fish.
2 fish. That's it.
But what you do, so you run out, doesn't matter if it's 20 miles, if it's 70 miles, you get your 2 fish for the vessel. And then you're on your way back in, and you're 3 miles from Horn Island, and you start fishing the channel on your way back in. It doesn't, I guess, however many people are on your vessel. Say there's 4 guys on the boat. That means you could add 6 more fish to that total. So you've got your 2 federal fish, and then you could add another 6 to meet the state requirement of 2 fish per person.
Okay. So I can leave Biloxi. I could run out. I can get my 2 federal. I can come back to the bar on Horn Island and chum and get 2 per
Person.
Correct?
That's right.
Okay.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
It
it
is.
just
Yeah. It is.
That's confusing.
But we
But
want,
one of those 2 per person are the federal fish, right?
so state regulations supersede whatever the federal regulation is. So it doesn't matter at that point where you caught those 2 fish.
It's
The
just
fact
2
that you're
per.
in state waters, you get 2 fish per person. So
Okay.
if you got 4 people on the boat, don't have more than 8.
There it is.
Right.
That makes sense.
Okay.
regardless of where you caught it.
Correct.
Just don't get caught in federal waters
That's what I
with
was
more than 2
More than
cobia
2.
or you're screwed.
That's an easier way to say it.
So there's
To me.
and there's a reason why we did that. So number one, our stock did not decline the way we saw the stock off of Destin and some of the areas that are heavy hit in the spring with the tournaments that got closed down. We didn't see that drop off. We kept seeing a really good push of fish in the fall. We saw consistent pushes in the spring. Our tournaments did not drop off the way theirs did.
Yeah.
And we know that there are reduced federal species that are open for anglers to go get. I mean, the number of days where amberjack and triggerfish and snapper line up are few and far between.
Right.
Cobia are one of the fish that our anglers love to target, and we want to make sure that they still have that opportunity to go get them when they can.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The land, yeah.
Yeah, and people in the comments, they're starting to really come in.
Yeah.
If you missed the open end of the show, we said we were going to go over everything kind of as a general blanket statement first, and then we were going to dive deep in the comments. So don't leave. Stick with us. I see everything in here. I'm going to start going over them. To me, correct me if I'm wrong, if I get it wrong, it's easier to just say, if you're in federal waters, you get 2 cobia. Do not have more than 2 cobia. When you come back into the state, it's 2 per person on the vessel.
That's right.
Correct.
Okay, that my dumb brain can understand, Right. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you were keeping up.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I have to process it the right way. All right. Okay. So now let me try to go back. Clarence is lighting us up. Clarence,
Sibo is probably the one that's on the Kobe. I'm sure he's on
it, and we're gonna get to that. So, but I'm gonna work my way back to let's see. Hold on.
Now when we get into this is not what you think the law should be or what we can do to do the laws or make laws better. This is the law. This is what we're doing right now to keep you legal.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Okay. All right, Bill's got us a question first, and we're gonna go. Let me flash it and make sure I read it right. All right, why are we shut off July 10th, and both states both states beside us can have fish until the end of the year?
So I'll address ours first. We kind of touched on it with our system that we got cut from 151,000 pounds, which we had up until 2022 was the final year of 150,000 pounds. Yeah. 2023, we got cut back to 62,000 pounds. So we go from 170 days on the water to 30 days on the water or less. And so that's tied into that. It's out of our control, but we're taking the steps that we can to improve that for the angler to make sure that y'all get as many days on the water as we possibly can, because we don't believe that 60,000 pounds or 80,000 pounds is appropriate for a red snapper fishery. We should be in the range of 110 to 150, somewhere in that territory. So
I think a lot of people look at Louisiana season as it's drawn out and it's 4 per compared to our 2 per and then the little short season, but that's
And we look
out of our hands, right? Out of y'all's hands.
We look at our data and we see that y'all are able to consistently catch fish through the days that we've been open. Alabama has seen a drop off in the effectiveness of their anglers. They're having to go further to get their fish. It's not as easy pickings as a lot of our nearshore reefs are.
Right.
Same thing with Louisiana. They jumped up to 4 fish per person, and they're still fishing and as early as April for opening, and they're still pushing into December, November.
I think they knocked them down to weekends that last part of the season, but they were still fishing snapper for a while.
But they're having to spend more time to go get them, go further to go get them. It's just not the same easy pickings as it was, and that somewhat speaks towards the fishery. Now, if we were stayed open at 150,000 pounds for the last 4 years, we might be seeing some of those same issues, but that's just not the situation we're currently in.
Okay. All right. Let's keep. I'm just going to go straight down the list the way I see it. Joey, you touched on, we talked a little bit about before live. You also got some stuff on your phone too that we may can pull out as well. Cody asked it, so I'm going to share it right here. How do we measure a sharked snapper? Which I didn't exactly know what that meant to begin with.
Well, I explained it.
It's very. Go ahead. Explain it there now.
So if I'm reeling in a 24, 25, 26 inch snapper, everybody knows it's going to be big, gigantic head, and it gets taken off halfway through, big bull shark eats it. Instead of me, if I want to keep that snapper and throw it in the boat, is it legal for me to keep that snapper in my boat under 16 inches in half, cut in half? How does that work? How do we do that?
Or maybe not even just in half.
Yeah,
right? Just enough to
trimmed,
not be legal.
Yeah,
trimmed. That's a good word. If the Mother Nature trimmed it a little bit. There you go.
So by the letter of the law, it's got to be 16 inches from whatever your longest point is to your nose. However,
whatever he used to be, maybe doesn't count.
Beyond that, I believe it would be up to the.
All right, Mike. Captain Mike, you're up, baby. You're up.
One, I wouldn't want to keep that fish anyway because it's going to go against my quota.
Right.
So I'm going to put that one back and try for another one. But
now maybe
my guys are not out there looking for shark snapper to try and write a citation to go to court on their day off and explain to a judge why they thought this was necessary versus talking to somebody. We're not going to write those.
Your people know the difference between a 25-inch snapper and a 16-inch.
If I'm looking at a snapper head or whatever, and it's that cotton picking big, I know it's way bigger than 16 inches.
Now, this is not legal advice either. This is just what we're just as barroom talk. So, you still are taking a chance
now,
here,
there is
Cody.
somebody, I'm sure there are people out there that can talk themselves into a citation once they're off.
Oh, for sure.
But generally, we're not. We employ common sense and we use officer discretion
because you led with what the law states, which is it has to be
16 inches.
There you go. All right,
so it's a possession limit. That goes to, I mean, the most classic story is, oh man, I gut hooked it. It was going to die anyway, so I kept it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter how you caught it. The law doesn't talk about the method. It talks about possession.
Flipper needs to eat too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, okay.
Go ahead.
There we go. All right. There we go. Good. Here we go. All right, Sibo, we're coming into your stuff here. So we're probably
gonna be on there for a while.
Shifting back onto the cobia here. I'm gonna read it just like he wrote it. He's got some emojis on here that I can't quite doesn't show up for me. I don't know how it looks on the thing. It says, "Can we have year-round quota in Mississippi State management? If we don't get the reef built to supply the anglers, we can't grow our stock."
To the question of can we have year-round red snapper season in state waters?
I would, Sibo, help us out. I would assume he's talking about cobia because that's when the comment came through because we got a little off on our timing here. Can we have year-round quotas? Sibo, if you can help us out on that one a little bit, we'll try to get him to answer. Wow, they are way ahead of us on this. Okay, we got to try to speed up. All right, we'll just skip that. Sibo, sorry, we're going to skip that. There's a lot of comments coming through. All right, here we go. Okay, too many rules from Bill. All right, Bill, we appreciate that. I'm sure people share that sentiment as well.
Bill.
I felt that once or twice myself. When is the site material going out? It's been 7 years. Let's stop kicking the can. Please get this material out to Fish Haven Dumped. I don't know that that's on you guys. Is that on you guys at all?
What I'll say is that there are active deployments especially on FH13, but on many other permitted areas, and a lot of permitting projects that have been going through a lot of red tape, but not held up on the DMR side of things. We want to put out material as much as y'all want.
Yeah, you join the fishing banks to figure that out.
And Sibo is. And I kind of.
Oh, is that Sibo saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I, like Joey just said, haven't been in those meetings for the fishing banks. I know a lot of it is like financial, getting it lined up. It's not cheap to haul that stuff out there. And I know Sibo knows that as well. It's a lot of logistics involved, so I hope that is what you were talking about. He also said the cobia rules should be changed to match the federal regulations. Do you have it?
So what we'll say to that is that we are always open to angler comment, and our commission meetings are open to the public, and public comment can be made at any given point in time there. And a lot of stake does go into what the public, whether it's concern or support. And we're always willing to review regulations and collect as much data as we can. We just ran a satellite tagging project on cobia and got some really sound results that fish, at least that we tagged in the fall in October, were not far offshore all winter long. We had one fish that went to Texas, but 7 out of 10 sat just offshore of Mississippi.
Yeah, that's good.
And there's a high likelihood that those fish are then transiting right back north. So the fish that we're harvesting are not fish that Destin's harvesting. It's our fish.
Yeah, so they're not making the loop.
Right. But we are essentially impacting our fish stock. We know that we're not taking a little bit out of the Gulf population that's swimming around. We're affecting our future of being able to catch the fish. So if we start to see declines, if the anglers on the water are seeing declines, that public comment can definitely be put forward. And
where we put that public, is there a website? I mean, I'm sure it's on your website that we do that.
So for every commission meeting, there's an opportunity for the public to put forth their public comment, whether it's a written comment or for them to actually come speak at the commission meetings. But at the same time, it could just be emails.
Okay.
That is perfectly functional for us to have it on our radar.
Okay. He was talking about snapper. Sibo was earlier. Again, y'all are getting way ahead of us, and I'm gonna try to speed through some of this. But he was talking about snapper. He said we asked for it. Commission voted it down a couple years ago, and he went and spoke on public record. And I do believe that because he does go to that stuff. Let me do this real quick. I want to flash this one. Because I want to touch on this. It says here, and Bill, I've felt this way myself personally. I'm going to be honest with you before. He says all these rules are for confusion and to write tickets. And I say that like in the past before we've done these conversations with the DMR. Mike, would you want to speak to that? All of these rules are set up just so y'all can write tickets.
State statute, we're not writing that. Okay. And if it's a title that's put out by our agency, okay, that's all we put out everything for public comment before we vote on anything. So all that's put out there, but absolutely not. We don't get revenue from this like a lot of people think. It's not something that we want to do. Education is always the very first tool. All right. And compliance with that. So we've got compliant people that we're stopping and talking to, and there's a violation observed. I mean, most of the time we're employing officer discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Writing a citation is not fun to us. We don't get points for it. They don't get rewarded.
You don't get a bonus at Christmas,
they don't
right?
get a bonus for Christmas. They get no rank. There's nothing associated with writing citations except going to court and testifying, usually on your day off.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's more
tough.
work on y'all.
Absolutely.
And from a making regulations side of things, we don't want to put more regulations than we absolutely have to have in order to protect the resource for future generations. So there's some species in Mississippi that are heavily regulated in other states that are not regulated in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Think about white trout, brown mullet, black drum. All are perfectly accessible, good eating fish that do not have regulations on it because we don't believe that we need to at this point in time.
Okay.
There may come a time in the future where the data we have or the public comment, if all of a sudden folks quit seeing white trout, there might be a little bit of uproar.
Right.
That's a
you better not let them disappear.
That's a staple food for
a lot of y'all charter captains gonna be in mind, right?
No, we need
short guys,
But the snapper is an excellent case of that because he, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, we can remember 3, 4, 7 day seasons, very limited quota, not too long ago, and through efforts by the public and our departments like this, I mean, now we've got these kind of seasons and limits that are out there.
And like you're saying is that y'all are looking at better data assessment tools to where we can not ever have those 3 days.
And it is considered a regulation, or some people look at it as one more thing I got to do or anything like that. But the end result is that, you know, it's benefited the Mississippi angler. 100%.
And Bill, I appreciate the comment, man. Like I said, I mean, you're not the only guy who's felt like that, and it is confusing at times, and that's why, like, even myself, I'm asking these questions because I'm like, I'm getting a little tripped up on this myself, and you're sitting right here telling it to me. Sibo said, when was the last stock assessment done on cobia?
I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Okay.
If I had to guess, it's going to be in the range of 2011 or 12 with update in the late teens, but
okay.
So it's been a couple years.
How can we get back the king mackerel stock back before 2000? How can we get the stock back? I'm assuming to what it was before 2000. King mackerel.
The state of Mississippi doesn't really do a whole lot with management of king mackerel. At this point, we match the federal regulations for kings. There's a lot of back and forth at the Gulf Council level for commercial and recreational harvest of kings. There's been a decline, certainly, in the harvest over the years. But that's one where taking your public comment to Gulf Council and their work groups is going to be the best avenue.
I think most people that are watching right now are familiar, but explain Gulf Council as far as what they are and what they're. Do they write laws, or do
Gulf
they
Council is the federal management body that oversees the Gulf of Mexico commercial and recreational landings of fish. It's fish, shrimp, everything that's a federally managed stock runs through Gulf Council, and then essentially recommendations and information from Gulf Council then goes to NOAA Fisheries to be put into law.
Okay.
But they do not create the laws. They are instrumental.
Advisory board. Is that a fair term? How many people, if you know?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but multiple representatives from multiple each states, state with backgrounds from commercial to recreational, educational, all kinds of folks sitting around the table.
Okay. Landon wants to know why increase speckled trout size but keep the bag limit at 15 per person.
So that goes back to the stock assessment that we did. And I think that was in 2017, but it got annual updates year by year. And what that saw was that it runs models. So what happens if you do this? What happens if you do this? Adjusting the bag limit down from 15 to 10 to 5 did not have much of an impact because the number of times where anglers are keeping that many fish is so few and far between. But the number of times where an angler catches a 13-inch fish is pretty often. So
that makes sense because you can't always get them. You can't always get them.
It's tough.
A 1-inch increment, a 2-inch increment in size was far more impactful to the speed at which the stock could rebuild to levels that we had seen before than an adjustment on the bag limit. Or even another one comes up on that is an upper slot. It was also like the number of times where we see fish that are over 22 inches is far and few between compared to the number of fish we see in the 15 to 18 range. So that was just not as impactful of a regulation that we could put in. So we're trying not to overregulate and put more than we absolutely have to. Let's make the most out of what we do have to have.
Yeah. I like that.
I got one right here.
Okay.
If you have a lifetime sportsman's license, do you have to also add a saltwater license endorsement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have explain the lifetime license.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that was news to me when we brought that up before.
Yeah.
So it basically, look at it like if you have a hunting license or whatever, you have to have a WMA stamp to go along with it. Saltwater endorsement, it's a sportsman's license when that went into law or was passed, just didn't include that portion of it. So the saltwater endorsement, you have to have added to a lifetime sportsman's license.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does the sportsman's license lifetime cover then, if not the saltwater? You're like hunting, right?
Huh?
Right? You're talking about
Yeah, the lifetime
sportsman's license. Yeah.
freshwater fishing.
Right. They just didn't add.
It didn't add the saltwater on there.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. That's why we're sitting right now.
That. Yeah, right. That's
but
what
it covers the freshwater, I would
Absolutely.
guess. Yeah, and then your small game.
And that's anything south of Highway 90, anything between Highway 90 and I-10, you can have either or, saltwater or freshwater. So you're covered all the way down to there.
Okay, so even with the lifetime,
Sportsman,
you're still buying a saltwater fishing
Yeah.
license,
and you still got to buy your WMAs. You still got to buy your duck stamps. You got to be up, but it just covers the base.
Yep.
Small game, large game,
Yeah.
all that other
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, and there is no saltwater lifetime buy it all at once license.
No.
Only for 65
Yeah, it's only
plus.
65 and over.
Oh,
You get the retirement.
One-time fee of $5.
Yeah.
okay. And I wanted to ask you that earlier, and we went past it. But if you're over 65, can you explain that? You buy it. I just turned 65. I buy the saltwater license one time, and that's it till I
Yes.
die.
The one that's come up, though, is the recreational offshore landing permit.
Okay.
You still get that every single year, even if you have a lifetime saltwater license of any kind. So you might not be going to MDWFP and getting a new saltwater fishing license every year, but you do need to get the offshore landing permit if you're going to fish for
Every
cobia
year.
and snapper.
and that's
every
how much
single
right
year.
now?
It's free.
Yeah. Okay.
Free,
And the only lifetime, air quotes, lifetime saltwater fishing license is once you turn 65 and you buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. There is no other
The
option.
retired
Right, okay.
license.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yep. Can I get some of
Yeah,
these?
yeah,
Unless
yeah,
you
yeah.
had something
No,
to
no,
follow
no,
up because we're way
Yeah, go
behind
ahead,
on these.
yeah.
Okay. Have y'all seen a decrease in triple tail population that makes it here? Hold on. That makes it here with the growing popularity. Have y'all seen a decrease in triple tail population make it here? Mississippi waters, has there been a decrease because of the popularity of the fish?
To some degree, yes. And that really started around 2014, 2015. And I'd say it's probably plateaued. As far as the actual number of landings that we see dockside, no. We're still seeing pretty consistent landings over time. The biggest thing that seems to impact it is the freshwater or saltwater conditions for where those fish are pushing. So
I thought you were going to say Facebook.
What? I missed it. Sorry.
I thought you were going to say Facebook.
impacts But no, I could do an entire show on triple tail. But basically,
Come back. Yeah.
what we've seen is that when the Mississippi River is really flushing out and that water's pushing out and going to the west, that Venice gets a better fishing year.
Bastards.
Mobile Bay,
I
same
love
kind
it
of way.
down there, though.
Those fish
God.
are keying in on fresh water.
Yeah.
So if we don't have a whole lot of fresh water in the sound, they're not going to be quite as keyed in to be in our area, which most likely is for food and for spawning.
So they like it a little more fresh?
Yes.
Little
That's what I'm
brackish.
saying. Okay. A little
They
brackish.
key into freshwater signatures.
Okay.
Good,
All
rain, good rainy season.
Yeah. Well, that's one offset.
Good for triple tail, bad for everything else.
I was gonna say,
Bad
at
for
least we got
everything
one offset to think about. Well, it's been raining a lot, man. Well,
Yeah,
triple
triple
tail
tail's
will be a little bit better. Okay. All right. Let's power through some of these. When can we expect the feds to give us more snapper quota or get us back to the 150,000 pounds? I think we've touched on that.
Actively pushing for it.
And that goes back to better data collection and reporting, which we're working towards different methods to do that.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes. And then the biggest impact that's going to come through is in the next 6 to 8 months. The federal survey did a side-by-side of their own survey with some different methods, and it's expected that there's going to be a huge difference between those two. So that's going to be impactful as well, but we'll see what that actually ends up doing.
Tell me if what I'm saying is correct or if I got something wrong here to kind of go off. That was a comment from Derek. The years that we had these super short seasons, 3 days, 5 days, whatever they were, that was based on, in hindsight, we think, data that was not accurate. And that's why you get people saying they're over-regulating us, man. They're only giving us this many days to fish. They're doing it on purpose for XYZ reasons. I go out there and fish. We see them all the time. They're thick on this reef. They're there. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're getting it wrong.
It's the federal system making a 2-month estimate out of 3 days of data.
Okay.
Labor Day weekend, 3 days fished hard, expounded across 60 days. Goes from what we think is 20,000 pounds is an illogical number, is a logical number, and they end up putting out 350,000 pounds out of it.
Okay.
So
sandbagging.
Yes.
Every time you ignored a statistics class when you were in high school or college or whatever, this is biting all of us right in the ass.
I'm not going to need this.
I'll never need this.
Never need this.
You didn't need the Pythagorean theorem, but you did need to know a little bit about statistics.
It's just a snap.
But luckily we have you guys there that's doing it for us, so I appreciate that. Okay. All right. He's Clarence Sibo's talking about he's been targeting cobia for 40 years. The stock is not what it was after the year 2000. Do y'all see that from your?
I'd say that's the case for a lot of fisheries, not just cobia, but that goes towards the booms of population in coastal areas, the prevalence of recreational fishing.
Yep.
Not saying that that's the way that we need to continue for the future, but it's not just cobia alone. So
okay. Aaron made the comment that we don't have the gas rigs that we had either, going back to like the structure. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see. Let me go through.
Clarence is over his 3 question limit.
he's lighting up.
He's hit his limit.
That's right. Clarence, you got to get back on the show too. Him and Mike's got to come back. That was a fun episode. Yeah. All right. Why didn't the state just follow the feds on cobia? This is from Mark.
So that one we touched on, basically, we did not see the decline in the fishery the way that Destin did. And honestly, when they made that change, it was based on angler opinion. Angler public comment is what pushed that regulation into effect. It was, number one, what pushed it from 33-inch fork length to 36-inch fork length, and then to the reduction down to 1 per person, 2 per vessel. Angler comment primarily came from a state to the east. We did not have nearly the push of public comment on that. We are always open to reviewing our regulations and reassessing whether we're making the right decisions. But we do not have evidence that we needed that in order to continue having a healthy stock of cobia to fish.
So if Sibo wanted to get a gang of angry fishermen up and email you it all at once, would that count as a bunch of names on a list to say, Absolutely. Hey, we got the data now? And
then I would also take that, present it to our commission, and then let decisions happen from there so they can advise our executive director on
power to
make.
That's right. That's right. And that goes to show you they are listening. There is that outlet there. Zach Courtney, man, Zach, we got to get you on the show. If you're still watching, Zach, we would love to have you come in and chat with us and talk about all the stuff you do out of Mary Walker. We went and did a trip with you, had a great time. So his question is, how do we get a reef building program allowing private individuals to purchase reefs and drop them? I believe it's possible in Alabama. Can you speak to that? I know that's a Gulf Fishing Banks. It's permitting just from having listened to Mr. Ralph talk about
the setup that Alabama has, I believe, is from their legislature, from their state legislature, that allows them to do that. So that would be one, and I can be sure about it later. But talk to your congressman.
Okay, so that's a higher level than what you're dealing with.
Absolutely, yeah. The state of Mississippi Department of Marine Resources does not have the authorization in order to set up for a private reef opportunity.
We got to go to Jackson.
Private individuals to purchase reefs and drop them. Yeah, and Zach, just from what Joey and I know from having done these shows, I do know, and having Mr. Ralph sit here with the Mississippi Gulf Fishing Banks,
red tape is everywhere.
Well, it is. And the areas that are already designated as a fish haven, those areas are what they are. And there is a lot of permitting and federal paperwork that you have to fill out to get the approval to drop stuff down there. It has to meet all these regulations that are set in place because
our bottom, the shrimping lanes too.
Nailed it. We have way more shrimping going on than Alabama does, from what I understand. Our bottom is a lot more muddy than theirs is. So Absolutely. Things that you drop sink. All these things have to play into how tall can something be. You know, if it's going to hit a boat that's driving over it, we can't have that. A lot of stuff that goes into it. So there is some differences there, just in logistics, as far as like us versus Alabama. Let me see if I can grab another one real quick.
I got one if you're waiting.
I want to catch up just on these. Stock assessment on red. What do you guys think about a stock assessment on red drum in Mississippi?
That's what we talked about.
Whether
earlier.
we need to conduct one or what.
I would assume.
The thing with red drum is that federally they are protected. The primary spawning stock of red drum is in the offshore waters beyond 3 nautical miles. They will go around the barrier islands, but most of them are offshore. That means that your spawning stock is completely protected for the foreseeable future, and they're a very long-lived species, up to 40, 50 years. So we are getting recruits annually from that spawning stock. Historically, for Mississippi, red drum has been one of the best performing stocks year after year. That there's not a whole lot of fluctuation because the spawning stock is not fluctuating. It is a flat rate consistent. So most likely we do not need a red drum assessment. That it would be a very positive outcome. But
I think that comes from the whispers from the charter boat captain. So from what you see, there's nothing going in that's going to change anything with the red drum anytime soon.
No, the regulations of 3 per person and 18 to 30, with one of those fish being allowed to be over to the 30-inch mark, seems to serve multiple sectors well.
Okay, what you just said, Joey Cates, catch 3 redfish. I can have 1 bull red over 30 inches.
Right.
I can have the other 2, which is 19 and 25 inches, and that's my limit. I can bring that home.
That's right.
18.
Yeah.
20, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Anything bigger than 18 inches.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Let's power through some of these. Zach says this is the first year that he's seen the massive schools of king mackerel on the shelf, and he is out there fishing a lot. Mark made a comment. He said that we match the feds on these nasty kings, but not on cobia. Please make it make sense.
Yeah, so we kind of touched on that one a little bit, but always open to public comment. And
some people like king, not me, but some people do.
Yeah,
I got one that can I relevantly ask one?
Offshore landing permit. Offshore landing permit was a great idea. Thank y'all, Matt Smith. We appreciate that. Here's a positive one. Thank y'all for your service and to protect our fisheries and boaters. So we do like that. Clarence says we're doing a great job and thanks for the information. Give me hold on. Okay, so I think we're getting super caught up. Let's hit this one real quick and then we'll go to some of the ones you got. This is a long one. Why did the DMR shut down the speckled trout commercial fishing season 6 months into 2025 year without fair warning? 5 months without being able to sell my #1 selling inshore fish. 5 months of our local fishing markets not having fresh speckled trout. This is from Richard.
So the spotted sea trout is a quota-based fishery for the commercial sector. It's broken down into 2 sections. It's from January to June and then July through December. 50,000 pounds total for 25,000 in the first half, 25 in the second half. So hit 25,000 pounds in the commercial quota, which is trip ticket reporting. It is 1-to-1. It is what the landings are. So it is strictly based off of the set quota for.
So they hit the quota and y'all shut that down.
Right.
Okay. And it actually cut it off where I was reading. He had more to say. So I'm gonna read this out. And I don't know, you're well versed in this, so I'm just reading what he's saying. Okay. He said, why is the DMR allowing new entries into the spotted sea trout endorsement program and not updating the old quota of 55,000 pounds?
So the new entrance is based on what we saw with a consistent drop in the number of participants in the commercial fishery for spotted sea trout, commercial fishery in general. Spotted sea trout is something that can be sold readily for our commercial anglers that are trying to make a living. And so essentially it was just being able to perpetuate that fishery and make sure that we have enough folks fishing in order to harvest fish to sell to our local restaurants.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a lot of it's tied into making sure that we have an appropriate number of commercial fishermen.
Okay. That was some legit answers. Joey, fire off a couple that you got.
I got one, and I'm going to ask a 2-part question because if I have a Mississippi fishing license and I have a Louisiana fishing license and I'm fishing speckled trout, redfish, or flounder, can I run to Louisiana, catch a Louisiana limit, and not stop and come back to Mississippi?
Yes.
Okay. That is only on the inshore fish.
That's speckled trout and redfish that apply, yeah.
Yeah, but I have to have a license in Louisiana and I have to have Mississippi.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's break on that. Okay, go ahead.
This does not apply to red snapper.
No, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Okay, this is where a lot of people get thrown off. This is where a lot of people get thrown off. Mississippi snapper season is closed. It is shut down. You cannot do anything in Mississippi. Louisiana snapper season is open. Can I run to Louisiana, catch snapper, and run back to a Mississippi port without stopping?
No.
Correct. Listen to what we're saying, people. If Mississippi's state waters are shut down, if I'm not mistaken, the only people who can bring snapper in are the guys with the federal reef permits. Is that correct?
Charter boats, yes, they have their own season that operates
separate.
Is set totally separate from everything the states are doing.
Correct.
The season must be open
to land.
The fish are landed.
That's it. Yeah.
Right.
Again, you just like Tetris when that one piece hits and it goes.
Yeah.
That's how I work.
Yeah.
Like it's just say it that way. Doesn't matter what's open.
So, well, it's
where it's open at.
If Mississippi snapper season is closed, the only people who might be able to land snapper are people who own federal reef permits.
That's right. And if you have a federal reef permit, you already know that. And you got so much shit on your boat and tracking devices, and they take your blood. They know your first child is in their office. They you know that.
So let's repeat that.
Yeah.
If Mississippi snapper season is closed, you cannot run to Louisiana, you cannot run to Alabama and not stop and bring it to the dock, even if you have those licenses. If Mississippi snapper is closed, you cannot bring snapper unless you have a federal reef permit.
Yes. And let me add, it is not that way because we want it to be that way.
Right.
The reason it is that way is because we went from a system in 2017, which everybody was open in the Gulf, and then everybody was closed in the Gulf, to a system where we said, all right, that system's not giving us the number of days on the water that we want. We want more days on the water. Each state comes up with their own solution, so each state gets a piece of the pot, and then they are responsible for that piece of the pot for how it gets fished. If we do not continue that, we go back to everybody in one pot and
one big
season.
pool.
Double dipping. We're double dipping.
So the reason that we got so many days to begin with for a long time until we got
until we got off. Yeah.
Was because we got away from the system of everybody open at the same time. So
big pot, two big states, Florida, Texas.
Yeah.
Pull a lot out of that pot. It leaves us holding the bag.
Okay. Now I was going to ask why big pot bad. You just answered that. Okay. Mark, if you said ask them why, and I'm looking at the comments, Mark or whoever reframe the question real quick and drop it in the comment all together, and we will ask them. It's all broken up and I can't follow all that live. So if we already answered it, even better.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
And we're fixing to wrap it up, guys. We've had these guys in here for an hour and a half.
They got families.
Yeah, they got to go home. So
if
if you got like a burning question, hit it right now. Joey, was there anything else on your little?
The other one that he had was about Cody had. Where's it? Talking about Mississippi, like Pearl River. If it's Louisiana, Mississippi licenses, can you fish the Pearl River on Louisiana side, not having a Mississippi license? If that makes sense. Explain the reciprocal agreement between Louisiana and how far you get to travel into Louisiana.
So reciprocal agreements that really have nothing to do with how far you can go into an area or your ability to fish or whatever. It just basically says that, if Louisiana charges X for out-of-state resident for a license or a transport, then Mississippi is going to charge them the same thing if we have a reciprocal agreement with them. It has nothing to do with the fishing license itself. It's just really the cost of it.
Okay.
So if you want to fish the Louisiana side of the
whatever
Pearl
you
River,
charge us, we're going to charge you.
That's
exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, they get us on fishing, we get it back on hunting.
Whatever, but you ain't going to mess with us.
That's right.
So if you want to fish on the Louisiana side of the Pearl River, you got to have a Louisiana license, and if you in Mississippi, you got to have a Mississippi license. So if you're going to
same chandelier,
so if you're going to keep if you're going to fish the Pearl River and you're going to on the Louisiana side and you want to keep a Louisiana limit of speckled trout, when you come back into Mississippi waters, you need not stop and fish anywhere else, because if we do, then that Mississippi rules take over.
Okay. I look down at the comment section, so I might, if you just you were talking about speckled trout though.
Yeah, speckled trout. Yeah.
Okay, because this is a good comment from Aaron. Okay. And you may have just said this, so forgive me. But what about if the Louisiana season is open and Mississippi is open. Can you land their limit? And I'm going to assume, I don't know if he's talking about snapper
if I had to guess.
So again, the question being, both seasons are open. Does it vary by fish? Speckled trout's one way, snapper's one way. Can you explain that?
Yes.
Both seasons are open.
So snapper is in a nutshell of its own.
Right.
It's completely separate from everything.
Going back
else.
to Bill's comment about it's confusing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, Bill. We get it. It is.
So,
I agree.
Snapper, regardless of where you catch it, where you land it, that season must be open, and all rules that apply to that species for that state in which it's landed apply, regardless of where you catch it.
Okay. So I'm launching Mississippi. My Band-Aid's falling off.
That's okay.
Louisiana is open. Mississippi is open. Mississippi is allowed a 2 fish. Louisiana is allowed 4 fish. I cannot run to Mississippi. I cannot run to Louisiana.
Catch the 4,
and come back to Mississippi with 4. That is illegal.
Not unless you're on citation.
Right. Yeah. and then it's great if you want that.
Even with a Louisiana license, doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
And I think about that, and you guys help me out here. What would people do then? If that was legal, what you just described, everybody would just catch it in Mississippi. No, well, why couldn't I just catch it in Mississippi outside of GPS, which I could just turn that off, right? Because you would say, well, they would check your GPS. I could just catch the Louisiana limit in Mississippi waters, drive back and land in Mississippi, and say I caught it in Louisiana. Well, let me see your GPS. Well, I turned it off. Yeah. That's not illegal, right? So then essentially you could finagle the law to then import Louisiana law or regulations into Mississippi fisheries. Is that accurate?
Yes.
That's why we do it that way?
And it's that way for the season closures also, that it's eating out of our bucket, right? We have a set number of pounds. Every fish that comes in and actually lands in Mississippi is 1 less fish.
Okay. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
So if we say, you can have your 4 fish because Louisiana says so, we're essentially opening our entire fishery up to 4 fish, and we no longer have control over how our landings are set.
So Mississippi snapper laws no matter where you go or where you land. It's got to be open Mississippi, and it's got to follow the same laws no matter what license you have or where you go.
Yep. There you go. That's pretty straightforward. What
else you got?
Cody's trying to do on the reciprocal. He said, no, the reciprocal agreement states that we can fish waters that are technically in Louisiana, all waters east of the Pearl River. Then what about saltwater? Cody, we can clarify that more with them. That's a little hard to understand. Did you get that?
I didn't.
They didn't get that. Okay. And Cody, you can send that in to us, Joey or I, and we can get that figured out for you if you need more clarification there, because honestly, these guys do want to answer these questions. We've been at it for an hour and 30, and they've been working all day today. So we don't want to keep them here any longer than we have to. We'll do another one of these. Obviously you guys like this because the damn comments have been lit up. You did a good job today, Joey, of getting everybody, in tune with this one. So, but I really do think, and Bill says, thank you for all your hard work. So Bill, we appreciate that as well. So he's obviously, respects what you guys are doing. We led with this. We appreciate you being here, and nothing's perfect. I understand people that get frustrated as an angler. Like I said, I've been that way myself, especially before we were doing these episodes. What we hope here is that today was a way for people to understand the reason behind the decision-making that goes into this type of stuff. It's not just because y'all don't want people catching fish. And again, when I say y'all, these aren't the two guys making the decisions. They're just the ones here sitting in the hot seat having to explain it all, right?
No, absolutely. And we want to be able to have a defensible reason for all the decisions that we make. We're not just trying to add regulations. We want it to be beneficial for the stock, beneficial for the angler, and beneficial for what's going to be allowable for your kids to catch in 20 years. So it's balancing all of those in order to make sure that you have an opportunity to fish, your kids have an opportunity to fish, and you're not overregulated in the process.
Yeah.
And if it seems that we are stricter when it comes to red snapper, or harder, or however you want to put it, much more involved in that area, is because we don't want to lose that again. We don't want to get back to that 3-day, 4-day, 7-day seasons. We don't ever want to get back to that point.
Right.
We want to always show that we can uphold our end of the deal to maintain that assessment to provide the angler with the best opportunity and the most opportunities throughout the year.
That's right. And you guys are both anglers yourselves, right?
Yeah.
You've said it before on the show. So like y'all are out there following the same damn
down.
rules. Yeah. You don't have you have a special pass that lets you just do whatever you want?
You golden ticket.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Golden ticket.
Yeah.
All right. But you wouldn't tell us if you did though, would you?
I'm really not. I'm not good enough fisherman to break any rules.
Yeah.
Even if you had that ticket, it wouldn't matter.
I'm not good enough.
Yeah, you'd have to sell it or something, right? That's what I'd have
out
to
on
do.
Snapper.
I'd have to rent it out, and then I'd get busted for doing that. But no, honestly, gentlemen, we appreciate that y'all come in here and talk to us like that. And
we'll do another one for sure.
Anytime you're trying to manage, whether it's a fishery or like, it doesn't matter. Like you're dealing with state agencies, federal agencies, multiple state agencies, trying to can like talk to the Gulf Council. Like there's so many moving parts in all of this that it's not going to be the most fluid thing. And I do understand, again, having felt it myself, the frustration that comes with just being the average Joe who wants to go out and fish. It does get confusing, and there are all these types of layers. But with these podcasts,
these guys have done a great job. I mean, our voice as a state, Mississippi, our voice is not as big as a state like Florida or Texas or Louisiana when it comes to being able to.
We got to change that.
Yeah, we got a little bit. We do. We have a little bitty piece of shoreline. A little bitty piece. Just a little bit.
It was cold, man. Our water's cold.
Little shrinkage.
Little shrinkage going.
Yeah, a little shrinkage.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
If we want to send emails to any of y'all about all this, where's the best places on the website and find yours, or how's that work?
Honestly, whether you call the recreational hotline, it's called that's tied to Tails and Scales, or which I think y'all already have that number, 325-1585. Or you send an email to the Snapper email or to the MS Creel email. It all comes to me. So one way or another, if you send something on the email, it's getting to me.
And what about on your side? So
same thing, the main number, the main email, you can come in there for any type of enforcement questions or anything like that. That'll be directed to me. It comes into the main. It's an information reporting line. So if you observe something, you see something, if there's an area where you talked about earlier, like there's a wake zone issue and you feel like there should be problem or extra patrols in that area, we value those opinions. We value those comments. You send it in, it'll come straight to me and I'll get back with them.
Okay. Listen, I want everybody's thanking us for this show. Guys, if y'all are still on here, I can see the numbers. Like, look, send us in. They said, please do more of these episodes. Please do more of these shows. Send us in what you want to hear about, because I tell you what, me and Joey sit there and we bust our heads against the wall all the time. How can we get better guests, like more informative? What do the people want to hear? Let us know, man. It makes it so much easier for us. And we have some contacts. We have relationships built with people. If you want to know something about it, we would love to just be like, hey, there's a demand for this topic. Let's get it out there.
Or a girl for that.
Send us a DM on Facebook, any of the social platforms. Go to our website. Like, just get in touch with us. Let us know, and we will do it. Richard, if you need more clarification, he's still asking some questions about that 5-month speckled trout thing, and there's still more questions coming in. You guys, let us know. Send it in to us, and I promise you, we can get it answered to the best of our ability.
Yeah, this will be part one. We'll do another part two.
Part one.
Miss Charmaine will be blowing me up tomorrow.
Richard, we're not trying to ignore you on these questions, my man. Send us a DM on Facebook and with the list of it, or even call one of us and we'll talk to you about it. We got to wrap this thing up. But it's been very fun, and we appreciate everybody tuning in. Gentlemen, again, this is y'all worked a full day today, and you came in here, sat in the hot seat, and we appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
I personally enjoy it.
Yeah, we really do it. These are fun. So again, thanks everybody for watching on the lives, the replays, and tuning in. If you haven't downloaded the Brownwater Banter app, please do it. I'll tell you what, just listening to this, I've got a few ideas in my head of what we need to do. We've already got the Tails and Scales app. Inside of that, you download the Brownwater Banter app. It's right there. You click Tails and Scales. It takes you right to where you need to be. We need to put more regulations in there. We need to put some infographics in there. Oyster season is already something that I added off the last DMR episode that we did. So I will continuously, Joey and I, be updating that app to try to make it just your one-stop shop for all things.
One click.
Yeah, it's just right
Amazon.
there.
It's the Amazon.
We're going to be the Joey Bezos.
Joey Bezos of the DMR.
The DMR and all the outdoor information. That's what we're trying to do here. So thank y'all. Check out the website, like the social stuff, and we got the Brownwater Bash coming up.
Go register.
Get ready for that. So if y'all keep tuning in, we'll keep doing them, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later.